Hello everyone, this week we're in Parashat VaYeshev, and Parashat VaYeshev is focusing on two main subjects, and one main subject at least, and especially is the beginning of the story of Joseph. The story is starting with Jacob settling in the Holy Land, in the Promised Land, and it says these are the generations of Jacob, Joseph. He's 17 years old. How come the generations of Jacob is Joseph? However, we learn from the Zohar that Jacob, whoever knows a little bit Kabbalah, Jacob was the chariot of the Sphira of Tiferet, which is the central column of the upper triangle. And all what was on his mind before he got married and when he got married was to bring to the world the chariot for the Sphira of Yesod, which is the central column of the lower triangle. And who is it? This is Joseph. However, there's another story over here. We learn from the story itself, Joseph has 11 other sons. However, he takes care, focusing on the main one, Joseph. We see it from the story that he is more beloved by his father than the other sons. This is a recipe, like in every soap opera, for troubles. Joseph, although he's a very talented, wise kid, he's 17 years old over here. His father loves him, his father is sitting with him and teaching him all his wisdom and the wisdom of his fathers and grandfather. However, Joseph needs to go, like all of us, needs to go through some experiences in order to turn all these information into real life wisdom. How? This is what the story is about. Joseph has dreams about greatness. He was born for greatness. And he dreams at night few times, the story is teaching us, the Torah is teaching us, that he's going to be a king, that everybody's going to bow down to him, especially his family. And when he's telling these stories to his brothers that do not like him already because of his behavior, they even hate him even more. That's what the Torah is saying. The Zohar is teaching us that we learn from that when you have a dream, even maybe if it is a dream that you dream at night, or it's a daydreaming, your vision, your dream for life, you never tell your dreams to people who do not really love you. Never, because their reaction to the dream can either block your dream from coming true or make it linger or let's say delay the coming true of the dream. And we learn a lot of things about dreams from this parasha, but not over here. We have to go to the longer lectures on the site in order to understand that. Joseph has a problem. He does not realize the antagonism that he generates among his brothers. You cannot be a leader, you cannot be a king, when you do not understand the mechanism of these behaviors among groups of people, especially the people that are close to you, your brothers, your family. And the result is when he goes to look after his brothers, or maybe more true is to check on them, when they are with the herds, with the flocks, north of his where he lives, and he's staying at home with his father. They are outside in the field with the flocks, and he goes to check on them. The moment they see him, they can't stand it anymore. And they say, here comes the guy with the dreams. Let's kill him and see what happens with his dreams. A miracle happens. One of the brothers, Reuben, saves Joseph, and he puts him in a pit to see what's going to happen in order to appease, meanwhile, the anger of the other brothers. Another brother, Judah, wants to save him, to save Joseph from the other angry brothers, so he offers to sell him. At least he won't die. And that's how Joseph arrives to Egypt. So can you imagine? You're 17 years old. You are born for greatness. Your father waited all his life to bring you to the world. He treated you like this. You are being up. Your upbringing is as a prince, And now you're a slave in Egypt. And you have to remember, the Egyptians had a very strong xenophobia, which means they hated strangers. So much all strangers were barbaric, primitive. They're not really human. And into that place, Joseph is being sold as a slave. There are two options in a case like this. One option is that you're focusing on the past. You're focusing what you lost. You're focusing, thinking all the time about your beloved father, about your dreams, about who you were supposed to be, and you're mourning and mourning and mourning the loss. And you're finished. But that was not Joseph. We understand that he was made from another material. And the education that he got from his father finally comes to fruition. Just because of the hardship. Joseph, as a slave, he's being sold to Potiphar as a Hebrew slave. Someone that nobody cares for. What he does, he's using all his intelligence to do the best for his master. And the result, whatever he touches becomes great and successful. His master realizes that this person is really talented. Finally, within a short time, Joseph becomes the person who's running all the business of Potiphar. But he's still a slave. And Potiphar, his master, is one of the richest and most powerful people in Egypt. On one hand, he's a slave. Why should he work so hard? That's the thought that each one of us could have when we're working for someone else. But that's not what Joseph is thinking. He's thinking one thing. Whatever you have to do, you have to do it. Whatever you're supposed to do, either you do it with happiness, with all your might, or don't do it. And if you are supposed to serve somebody, do it at your best. Do you know what he did? During these years, he was serving Potiphar. That was his opportunity to know the ins and outs of Egypt, to understand the economy, to understand the society. When he, otherwise, without going through this, he would never be able to stand in front of Pharaoh later on and know exactly how to present himself, to sell himself to Pharaoh, and to get, within few seconds, the position as second to Pharaoh in an empire like Egypt. But that was Joseph. This is us. We have two options every moment of our lives. We can say to ourselves, I'm in the wrong place, with the wrong people, doing the wrong job, it's not what I'm supposed to be, I have a dream. On the other hand, I can say, okay, that's where I am, that's where the light wants me to be right now, because right now, my tikkun, my correction, my lesson is where I am, not where I'm not. So let me do it the best, because when I finish that properly, I can move up to the next option, to the next grade, to the next level. That's the message of Joseph. There's another story in this parasha. This is a story of Judah, Joseph's brother, and Tamar. From that story, which is a weird story that you can't understand logically how that could be accepted. If you read the story, it's not the time right now, but from that story comes out the house of David, King David. In Kabbalistic teachings, there are two kinds of Messiah. There's the Messiah, the son of Joseph, and the Messiah, the son of David. Two different kinds of Messiah. One of them connects to the physical world, and one of them is connected to the spiritual world. A Messiah means a consciousness, the consciousness of Messiah, which is the consciousness that we spoke about when we spoke about Joseph. The ability of a human being to appreciate whatever situation he is at, and to understand that this is a gift from heaven, to become the best I can be, and when I do that, the best, I can move up to another level till finally I can come to a full completion. And when the moment a person sees life as this, like this, he never waste time to mourn his losses, because there are no losses. There's only pushes that we've been pushed forward. He has no time to complain about the mistakes, because there are no mistakes. Only steps to learn from. And take the opportunity to do the best you can in every situation in order to learn how to be the best. Because the whole fight is not against anyone. It's not against the Creator. It's not against our luck or our destiny. The fight is against the voices within. Those voices that we learned about in the previous Parashat. Those voices that are trying to say, no, it's over with. Oh, there's injustice that was done to you. And it's so painful, you should think about your injustice. Because who can overcome the injustice that it was done to you? Who can overcome the pain you're experiencing right now? This is the enemy. The enemy we spoke about in previous weeks. When we overcome this enemy, we experience redemption. We experience the messianic age in our life. The moment we reach total responsibility. That moment we can manifest the Creator, the image of the Creator that is within each one of us. And this is the message for each one of us and for the whole of humanity. Have a great week and good luck to all of us. Thank you.